The movie opens with a family driving to a secluded lake house for vacation. The family includes a married couple, Lauren and William, accompanied by their teenage daughter, Erin. As they arrive at the house, Erin doesn't seem to be too thrilled. Her mother asks what's the matter, but Erin claims to be fine, and dismisses her concerns. Once inside, the family is amazed to see how pretty and luxurious the house is. William is impressed, and Lauren tells him that it's one of the deepest lakes in the US, and the best one she could find on short notice. While heading to his room, William asks Erin if she liked the house, but she just ignores him. Later, Erin discovers there's no Wi-Fi, and the signal is unreliable, so the mother advises her not to worry about the cell phone and just to enjoy the weekend. In the next scene, Erin is peeing in the bathroom when William suddenly walks in without hesitation. She feels embarrassed and scolds him, but he casually apologizes, explaining that he thought she was in the shower. Erin angrily demands that he leave the bathroom, so William finally walks outside, and the strange situation causes Erin to break down into tears. In the living room, Lauren is preparing a meal and she sneakily sips from the alcohol bottle. When she hears William approaching, she panics and quickly hides it. William mentions that he accidentally walked in on Erin in the bathroom, and she reacted angrily. He complains about Erin's attitude, and brings up the fact that he recently spent thousands of dollars on Erin's college, yet she doesn't seem to appreciate it and behaves rudely. Here, we learn that Erin is not his biological daughter, which explains her distant behavior towards him. Lauren apologizes and assures him that she will talk to her daughter later. In another scene, we meet a guy named Jess, who is using a bathroom covered with nude pictures of girls. After he finishes, he heads to the bar, and starts drinking and enjoying himself. Meanwhile, Erin spots a boat by the lake and decides to give it a try. In the kitchen, Lauren is busy cooking when William approaches her and tries to be intimate. She politely refuses him, stating she's busy, but he doesn't care and begins to touch her. He then asks her to turn around and forces himself on her. Once William is finished, he walks away, and we see Lauren visibly devastated. After some time, Erin returns to the house and joins her parents. Meanwhile, we see two guys named Michael and Gary heading towards the lake, and it seems like someone has paid them to get rid of William as they got his picture. As the family is preparing for dinner, a car suddenly pulls up outside the house. Erin observes the man from the window and wonders if he might need help. Moments later, there's a knock at the front door, and it turns out to be the stranded man, who introduces himself as Jesse. He explains that his car broke down, and asks if he can use their phone. William questions why he doesn't have a phone of his own, so Jesse says that the battery is dead, but William asserts that there is no cell service in the area. Erin then offers her phone, mentioning that the signal is unreliable, but sometimes it works. Following this, the man casually asks if she has a cigarette, but William states that she doesn't smoke. Erin suddenly retrieves her cigarette and hands it to Jesse, shocking her parents. After this, Jesse calls his friend, explaining that his car broke down, and requests a tow truck. Jesse informs the family that his friend will arrive in an hour and a half, and says that he'll wait outside in his car, but he asks to use a bathroom first. After that, Lauren insists he stays in the house until then, because it's too cold outside. Although William doesn't like it, he also agrees with his family and suggests that Jesse stay until help comes. Meanwhile, Erin smiles strangely, and it seems like she likes Jesse's arrival. Jesse agrees to wait in the house, so the four of them sit down, and William and Jesse start drinking together. In the midst of this, Jesse asks Erin if she drinks, which William swiftly denies. However, Erin insists that she wants to give it a try once, and that it's not a big deal. Jesse then reveals that he used to be a bartender. He now wants to make a special drink for all of them as a gesture of gratitude. He begins mixing up some ingredients to make a cocktail. Afterward, he pours drinks into 4 glasses, and requests that they try it out. William feels uncomfortable with the situation and refuses to drink, but after some insistence from his family and Jesse, he eventually agrees. Soon after, the girls go to check on dinner while Jesse and William engage in conversation. Jesse inquires about William's profession, and the latter reveals that he is a governor. Here a surprised Jesse tells him that, as a politician, people aren't always happy with his decisions, and asks how he deals with them. William claims that each decision affects everyone differently, and that he tries not to focus on that aspect, and only concentrates on positive things. Just then, William begins to feel a bit dizzy, and Jesse suddenly mentions some women's names. He claims that these women are his friends. All the family members also begin to feel dizzy, and William demands what he put in the drink, before they lose consciousness.
Nighty-night, motherfucker.
The scene then shifts to nighttime, where the three wake up to find themselves tied to a couch. Sitting in front of them is Jesse, who is eating aggressively. He then gets up, and kisses Lauren on the cheek, after which he slaps William. Jesse tells them the rules of a game they are going to play. He explains that William must answer 3 questions, and even though Jesse already knows the answers, he just wants to test William's honesty. Later, Jesse closes all the curtains and windows in the house, ensuring that no one can interrupt him. He informs Erin that she's a sweet kid, and he will hurt her and her mother if William doesn't tell him the truth. Following this, Jesse forces William to have another drink, and reveals that it was actually his urine. He then tells Lauren that if she wants to stop the game, all she needs to do is say stop, and make love to him. Jesse laments about how he is in love with her, and that he can please her more than old William ever could. Hearing this, William begins cursing him, so Jesse punches Lauren in the nose, causing her to bleed. He then sets up a recorder and decides to ask his first question. Jesse asks if William has ever faced 6 sexual harassment charges, that his office settled outside the court system. William immediately denies the accusation, and this only makes Jesse mad, and he ends up punching him in the face brutally until Lauren pleads with him to stop. Jesse then warns William that if he lies again, he will beat up Lauren like this. With no other choice, William reluctantly answers yes to the question. The response satisfies Jesse, and he approaches Erin to untie her. He then carries her away from there, while Lauren begs him not to touch her daughter, but Jesse doesn't listen to her and proceeds to the bathroom with the teenager. Once there, he begins to wipe off the blood stains from Erin's face. He then takes her hand and notices some cut marks. This makes him realize that she has tried to end herself many times. Just then, Jesse hears someone approaching the house, so he quickly makes his way to the front door. He finds the 2 men, Michael and Gary, from earlier. They assert that they are here for William, but Jesse claims they got the wrong house. The duo is adamant that this is the correct address, but Jesse says that he is here with his girlfriend, and asks them not to bother him anymore. After the men leave, Jesse brings Erin back into the living room, where he ties her up again. For the second question, Jesse asks William if he has ever slept with anyone besides Lauren since they got married. William glances at his wife, and answers yes, which leaves her shocked. Hearing this, Jesse commends him for finally being honest. He states that he will ask the third and final question, after which he will let them go. Up next, he asks William if he has ever raped anyone. But as soon as the latter begins to justify himself,
There were accusations.
this only makes Jesse aggressive. He brutally bites William on the face and tears his flesh. Jesse repeats his question, demanding to know if William has assaulted someone, and this time William screams out a yes. Following this, Jesse goes to the bathroom to clean himself up. Erin and Lauren are horrified, and they just cannot believe that William could be such a monster. Soon after, William manages to break free from his restraints. Lauren shouts at him not to leave his daughter and wife, but he doesn't listen to her and gets out of the house. Hearing their commotion, Jesse grabs a gun and rushes out to find him. After running through the forest for a while, Jesse finally catches up to William, and attempts to take him back to the house. But then, Michael and Gary also arrive, and it turns out they have still not left. William pleads with them for help, explaining that his family is being held hostage in the house. The 2 men then ask Jesse to leave William alone, claiming he is their business. And when Jesse refuses to back down, a gunfight ensues between the 2 parties. Taking advantage of this opportunity, William runs away from there. During the chaos, Jesse manages to shoot Gary dead. He then tries to go after William, but Michael stops him and they get into a brutal fight. After an intense struggle, Jesse repeatedly beats Michael with a rock and runs away. In the meantime, William manages to reach the highway, relieved that he has finally escaped. But his happiness is short-lived as Jesse suddenly appears from behind, and brings him back to the house. Jesse ties him up on the couch again, and then he grabs a hammer and brutally hits William in the leg, causing him to scream in pain. After this, he unties Aaron's restraints, but at that moment, someone arrives at the door. It turns out to be Michael, who is still alive. He tries to attack Jesse, and the two men get into a fight again. But then, Aaron suddenly stabs Michael with a knife. Seeing this, William urges her to stab Jesse as well. Jesse somehow calms her down, and takes the weapon away from her. He then leads her to her room, and places her on a bed. He gives her earphones, and asks her to listen to music while not caring about what happens outside. Afterward, Jesse returns to the living room, where he announces that he will ask his extra final question. It's a tough one, which he doesn't want to ask, but has to. In response to this, William is devastated. He says that he has been trying to get better, which is why he brought his family here for the weekend. Jesse claims that while it's good, what's done is done, and he can't take back what happened. And for his last question.
Will, you ever force yourself on your daughter?
Stop. What?
Jesse asks William if he has ever forced himself on Aaron. Hearing this, Lauren is shocked and can't believe he would do such a thing. William states that Aaron is not even his biological daughter, so it doesn't matter to him. Hearing this, both Lauren and Jesse are disgusted, and Jesse finally unties William's bonds. In desperation, William asks him to name a price so that he'll leave them alone, but Jesse refuses the offer, and instead challenges William to use his power towards him. William tries to hit Jesse multiple times, but he is too weak to cause any real damage. Even after punching multiple times, he doesn't make a difference. Eventually, it is Jesse's turn, and he begins beating William mercilessly while Lauren watches them. William looks at her and begs her to help him. Jesse then begins breaking his bones, but Lauren suddenly asks him to stop. She tells him that he can make love to her. Seeing this, William tries to intervene, but she clarifies that she isn't doing this for him, but instead for herself. After this, the two go to a room. However, they don't do anything and just tearfully look at each other. Jesse then comes outside and confronts the injured William. He doesn't understand how people like William, who commit such horrible acts, walk around in suits while believing they can control anyone. No matter what they do, they escape the consequences, while people like Jesse end up getting arrested for minor things, such as not paying fines, smoking weeds, or street fighting. He then taunts William, asking him how it feels to be powerless now. Before William can respond, Jesse abruptly walks up to him and stomps on his face with his feet. The following morning, we see William lying on the pier. He is tied up to heavy concrete. Moments later, Lauren walks up to him and claims that she never loved him, and only married him because she wanted to give her daughter a better life. Even though she knew he was cheating on her, she endured it just for Aaron. But when she found out that he touched her daughter, she finally knew that she had to get rid of him. It is at this point that we learn that everything that happened was deliberately planned by Lauren with the help of Jesse and Aaron. The three planned to teach William a lesson, so they purposely drugged him, while Aaron and Lauren also pretended to be victims. So, according to the plan, only 3 questions were to be asked, before letting William go. But in the bathroom last night, Jesse inadvertently discovered suicide attempt marks on Aaron's hand, so Aaron told Jesse how her stepfather forced himself on her. When Jesse asked the 4th question, Lauren was shocked, because she had no idea her husband was abusing her daughter. This devastated her, and it was then that she finally decided to kill him. In the final scene, Lauren is joined by Jesse and Aaron as they watch a helpless William on the verge of death. Surprisingly, Aaron refers to Jesse as dad, which means that he is her biological father and Lauren's ex-husband. Jesse then kicks William into one of the deepest lakes in the US, leaving him to meet his fate. And this is where the movie ends.